I'm Liz McFeeters and I'm the Chakra Goddess, and welcome to my home. So instead of making you read a bunch of boring bullshit that I wrote about myself, I thought I would introduce myself to you in this video. So I'm an intuitive energy healer. I'm a chakra goddess. I am a clinical hypnotherapist, a transformational life coach, and a Reiki master. So all the holistic modalities that I do all encompass the mind, body, spirit connection. And that is very much on purpose. And the reason that I do those modalities is because they are the actual exact modalities that I used in my transformation. And so I wanted to tell you where I came from and why I do this work. So I haven't always looked this way. I actually used to look this way. And this picture was taken in 2006, and I was 32 years old, and it was a few weeks before my wedding to my now ex-husband, and it was taken at our couple shower. And what I remember from this party was I was fucking miserable. My stomach hurt. I was in pain. I felt like shit. I didn't want to be there. I couldn't eat. I didn't want to paste a smile on my face. But the biggest thing is I was having serious second thoughts about getting married. I was having serious second thoughts about who I was marrying. Not that he wasn't a great guy. No, this has nothing to do with him. But I was letting everyone tell me what they thought that I should do with my life. So I was letting everybody tell me that, I was 32 years old, I should get married, I'm ready for children and a family and the white picket fence. And so everybody else was doing it, so of course that's what I thought that I should do. However, I didn't really want any of it. I just didn't know it yet. But I knew that I didn't want to get married, and I just didn't have the balls to call it off. I didn't have the balls to tell someone that I was making a mistake. And see, that is my whole MO. I was the queen of smoke and mirrors. I was the queen of fake the funk. I pasted a smile on my face. I made, posts on Facebook about, how great my marriage was and how happy I was. And I wasn't any of those things at all. I wasn't living the life that I wanted, except I didn't know what life I wanted. So I just followed the leader and lived the life that everybody else thought that I should have. And after I got married, everything just got worse. And actually, as soon as I said I do, everything got worse. And for me, you take a toxic body, you take a diseased body, a heavy body, a negative body, and you add more negative energy onto it. All I did was just dump all of that unhappiness and all that sadness and all that feeling stuck onto my already heavy toxic body. Right before Christmas, we were newlyweds, and unfortunately we had a late miscarriage that I had to deliver, and it was awful, and it was the worst thing I had ever experienced. Actually, I can't really say that it's not one of the worst things I've ever experienced in my life, but so that changed everything too. So again, add all of this grief and sadness to yet again another high toxic heavy body, and my body couldn't support it. And by the time it was all said and done, my heaviest, I was 208 pounds. My Crohn's symptoms were completely out of control, and I wound up in the emergency room one day, and my doctor happened to be doing rounds there, and what I thought was kidnapping at that time, he was truly saving my life, and I think he was wanting me to see how sick I was, and I was in serious denial because I was doing everything holistically. And that's the kicker about this whole thing, was that I was doing everything holistically for about 10 years. I was gluten-free. I was cross-referencing ingredients. I was, cooking. I was reading cookbooks. I was reading books. I was doing all these things, but nothing worked, because I had not yet connected the dots on where my issues were. So I was very resistant. I was, I didn't want surgery because, I did not want part of my body removed, and it was very important to me, except for the fact that I was dying. I was absolutely, without a doubt, killing myself. And a few years later, in a cranial sacral unwinding my body, told the practitioner that I would have lived another 33 hours. And when she said that to me, my heart and my stomach dropped. And at that time, being in the hospital, I literally felt like I was dying. I I had no food and basically wasn't, drinking anything. And I was on a Dilaudid drip for several days before they did surgery on me. And I was still in so much pain, and I was still then in so much denial, because holistically should work for everything, right? I should be cured. I'm doing everything holistically, so I should not have any, disease, or my body shouldn't be heavy, and all of this other stuff. And it couldn't have been further from the truth. So after I got divorced, shocker, right? We lasted about 3 years, and I got divorced, and I made the decision after that to move to Arizona and enroll in healing arts school. The healing arts realm, energy medicine, holistic medicine was all really calling to me at that time, and I wasn't quite sure yet where all this was going to unfold. But I knew that I was ready to, first of all, make some changes in my life and have the body and the life and everything that I wanted. So when I went away to school, my degree's in mind body transformation, my mind body psychology, mind body transformational psychology. Sorry, whoo, it's a mouthful. Anyway, when I was at school, I started to learn the components between the emotional process and the disease process, and how much they were very, very, very related. And I was looking at a book one day, and it was the emotional causes of disease, and it was a section about the small intestine, and it literally said, on the outside you appear that everything is fine, but on the inside you are dying. And it hit me like a ton of bricks, and it was absolutely right. And I knew at that moment that my jig was up. Like the fake the funk was over, because literally it just dropped me basically proverbially to my knees, because I knew it was true. And so that I really, my studies, school, my friends really started to change my direction of where I was going. And I really dove into a lot of energy work, a lot of Reiki, a lot of hypnotherapy, my life coaching classes, polarity, cranial sacral, and a lot of journaling. And it all started to change my body slowly, and it really started to shift, first of all, my mind and my mindset. And for the first time in my life, I really started to feel joy for no reason. I started to feel happy. And I didn't realize this until years later, but something that I used to do to myself when I was younger, if I was, whistling, or there was an extra pep in my step, that a particular day, I would stop and say, why am I so happy today? What's going on tonight or today that, that basically I deserve to be happy? And if I had a date that night, or had plans, or a party or concert or something, then I would say, oh, I get to be happy today because I've got da 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 going on. And I caught myself doing it not that long ago, and I was, and it really just connected that aha moment for me that, holy shit, I was completely preventing my joy and bliss from coming, because I only allowed myself to, quote unquote, be happy and blissful when something good was going on in my life. So, and there it started to change slowly, but the dots were connected, and I was journaling. And what I had learned was basically, over all of my life, I was shoving all of my emotions down, deep, deep, deep down in secret, dark places that, we don't bring out at parties. We don't talk to our friends about. I shoved it all down there, and I did not want to be vulnerable. I didn't want to be weak. So I was the strong one. I was the mouthy one. I was the aggressive one. I was proud of myself my senior year in high school that I got 3 unnecessary roughnesses when I was playing my homecoming football game against the Powder Puff game against the juniors. And that's what my high school legacy was. I heard once that I was voted most likely to become a bouncer in a bar. And it's funny now, because if you look at me, I don't even encompass any of those qualities anymore. And it's funny now when people see me is because I'm 105 pounds. I wear a size 2 when before I was a power lifter and I wore a size 12, and I stomped down the hall and it was like the Red Sea parted because God forbid anybody pissed Liz off that day. And I look back and it just absolutely horrifies me that that I was so aggressive, and I was a fast pitch pitcher. I was in a lot of sports, and I went into the Army right out of high school. When I got out of the Army, I started catching shoplifters and became head of a loss prevention department for a retail store. So I literally had to almost go to the bare bones, which at that time I thought was the bare bones. It wasn't even close. But I had to go within, and I sort of had to go systematically and chronologically get everything out that I had shoved down in there. I had to reprocess losing the baby and all of the fertility issues that followed after that, being told that I would never have children because my fallopian tubes were ruined. I lost one in an ectopic pregnancy, and my other tube was damaged. And they think most likely from so many years of the inflammation from my Crohn's disease pushing on my fallopian tubes, and now I can't have babies. So I had a lot to process and I had a lot to unwind. But once I started getting it out and I was processing it, slowly everything started to come into place and my body changed. It changed so much that I didn't even really realize how much it changed until I had, hi Suki, hello, little drive-by. I had no choice but to buy new clothes because my clothes are falling off of me at this point. But I was in the dressing room at the Gap in Tempe, Arizona, and I kept putting on, I started with a 10 and then an 8 and then a 6, and I still didn't dawn on me how small I was. And I put on a size 4, and I just sat there and I was like, holy shit. Like, never in a million years would I ever think I was going to wear a size 4. It just, I was stocky and I was, chubby. I never thought I could get this small. But I really started to see how much work that I have done. And then I moved home from Arizona in 2015, and basically the last of the weight had fallen off and the last of that particular part of the transformation. And I came back to Indiana for a few years and had some really good times, and have had, a lot of difficulty and a lot of grief and trauma over the last 3 years. But that's why I do what I do, because I love this work. I live this work. This is my life's purpose and passion. And if I never would have stood up for my own revolution and started my own journey, I wouldn't be living my life's purpose and doing the one thing that I love every single day of my life. And I could never say that before. So if you resonate with me, you resonate with my work, you're ready for some change, you're ready for some shifts. And I don't even like to use change. I like to use the word shift, because it takes one little shift or one little hypnotherapy session or one little thing to shift into a different, a tiny little different consciousness, a little bit of awareness, and it literally will start to change the snowball effect. One little change will then affect big changes. And if you truly want, hi Suki, want to make changes in your life, to lose the weight that you finally, that you've never been able to lose completely or keep it off, the fibromyalgia or the disease process, diabetes, whatever you're going through, Crohn's disease, God forbid, any of those disease processes, I see the body differently. I see the body energetically. So I see, it's kind of an occupational hazard actually, because anywhere I go, I look at bodies, I immediately see the energetic imbalances in a body, and I can connect the dots immediately of what can help that person. So I don't see calories. I don't see fat. I know those things exist, but that's not me. a nutritionist or somebody else. What I do is the energetic component. So clearing out your mind, your chakras, your aura, your meridians, getting your root chakra open and safe and secure, getting you grounded, teaching you how to set boundaries. All of these things are going to encompass everything that you've ever wanted in your life. Seriously, this has been my ultimate fountain of youth, and no one will ever tell me differently. I live this work every single day. If I'm feeling funky or my stomach hurts, I immediately go into meditation or immediately tune with my body and find out, why am I not feeling so good right now? And it is always emotional. So, I've been helping clients transform their own lives for 10 years now, and I recently just rebranded my business and to encompass actually a fuller program, because that's where Spirit has guided me to offer a fuller program, offer more of my services, so that someone can step into a full revolution, their transformation, and have all the answers right there. When I was doing my transformation, I had a lot of mentors, I had a lot of teachers, and they were all great, and they all came into my life at the perfectly right time, but it took me longer, and I had to, then go through each modality or get to know each person, and it made the process a little bit longer. I didn't have a me to go to, so that's why I've created these programs in this business, so that I can be essentially sort of the one-stop shop for your mind, body, spirit connection, and to unload all of that old junk, the anger, the shame, the guilt, the grief, the depression, all of that stuff that's deep inside your cells, that's just sitting there causing blockages in your body, causing the energy not to flow. So if you're ready for some change, or to dip a toe in and see if this works for you or resonates with you, take a step, take a look at my website, read what I said about, my services, do some Googling, whatever. Email me, Liz, Lis, at lizmcpeters.com. If you don't see a program or a service or a package that you think works for you, email me. Let's talk it through. I would much rather you pick up the phone, or I pick up the phone and call you, and we email and chat to give you a little bit of clarification, so that where your next goals are and what you want to achieve in this lifetime. It will not be easy, and it does take a commitment. It is going to take a personal commitment. Of showing up for yourself and making the changes, and not just calling me to get your energy fixed from me, but that you are in a place that you are really ready to take some shifts to open up the energy space for new beginnings, to finally get the career that you want, to open up the business that you want, to get the relationship you want, to leave the relationship that you've been trying to leave forever, whatever the case may be. Let's start to work and get you on the right path to your own revolution. So it takes not only a personal commitment, but it also takes a financial commitment. So, take a look at your options. I try very hard not to turn anyone away, but I do have to make a living. If you've got questions, or if you have trouble affording the sessions or anything, send me an email, message me, find me on my social media accounts, which you can find through my website. You are ready. And I can promise you that this journey is not going to be an easy one. It's going to be a difficult one, but you have me completely at your side for the entire time that you're in that program or the package. You have me at your disposal anytime when you get into those limited beliefs or the mind fuck that's creeping up and causing you to doubt yourself. So take a look, decide what you want to do, if you're ready, step into it. I am enjoying my Act 2. This is the second half of my life. I'm 44 years old, and I've never felt better. I've never looked better. I've never been happier. I've never been more content and fulfilled in my entire life. And I want to help you achieve those feelings that you can have for your own life as well. So contact me, step into it, ready for your revolution. It will not be easy, but I promise you it will be worth it. So take care. I hope to hear from you soon, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.